Okay, while Chaos Child does not seem to be working, Robotics Notes Elite at least seems to be working. So we will be continuing our science um, playthrough with this. Maybe I can get Chaos Child to work, but okay, just felt like letting that run through real quick. Pretty little, oh, okay, so mouse doesn't work. Mouse is not good. Okay, so let's see what this is about. I have genuinely no idea. Oh, it matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments. Oh, that went a little fast. Maybe we need to slow things down. We might have to slow things down a little, but okay, let's see. Mouse doesn't work, so that's going to be annoying. So I rely on mouse a lot more than I do keyboard.
これは所詮自分の中の衝動を満たすためのもの。最強のライバルとこのシチュエーションで戦えるなんてゾクゾクするじゃないか。もっとゆっくり。それが不謹慎だと言われようと構わない。綺麗事じゃないんだ。興味があるのはただ全国ランキング1位のやつを倒してその頂点全員一になることだけ。その先にあるもの、その先なんて何もない。何もないんだ。それでもいや、だからこそ求めるんだよ。レーザー光銃座だって俺はサンダーエンペラーに英雄でもなく積み込み済みだよ。軍人でもなく発電機もロボットアニメの主人公でもなく。電源供給開始。システムリンクオンライン。マイクテスト。カイ、なんか喋って。おじゃりもんせ、ノッチーよ。感度良好。全員一言ずつ。テステス。すごい一体感を感じる。風、なんだろう、吹いてきてる。確実に。はい、オッケー。カイ、ポケコンは有線になってる？赤いケーブル。 とっくに接続済みだよ。ていうか、なんで赤なの？アキちゃんの趣味。
通常の3倍で動ける気になるでしょ。
OS 正常に起動済みだし、テラ安定。
うちの顔見えてる？
バッチリと。
各サーボ、ホームポジションの誤差は 1% 以下。
送電システム正常だよ。発電機は13時間は連続で使えるって。
それだけあれば十分。
各種アクチュエーターすべて正常。ジャイロセンサー、オートバランサー異常なし。チェック9番から16番までは飛ばし。
おいおい、大丈夫？
見くびらないでもらえますか？僕を誰だと思ってるんです？
ああ、悪かったよ後輩。
はい次 DG297 起動。
起動しました。
レーザースキャナー左右ともに異常なし。
周辺マップロード開始。3メートル、5メートル、7メートル、10メートル、15メートル、20メートル、範囲最大。
地形判断用 AI 正常。大丈夫だ、問題ない。カメラテストどうぞ。
360度カメラテスト。カイ、ちゃんとシートベルトは締めてる？
もちろん。シート固定解除。くるくる回ればいいんだよね。カメラ連動確認。目が回る。
こっちもモニタで確認しました。座標固定スタンバイ OK？
ちょい待ち。調整完了。いいよ。
座標固定来た。これ
その変な言葉遣いいい加減やめてくれないか？
だが断る。
はいはい、限界やめ。よし、チェックは以上。本日2020年2月28日の天気予報をお伝えします。鹿児島県種子島屋久島地方は北東の風のち南の風やや強く晴れでしょう。波の高さ 1.5 メートル、最高気温14度、最低気温10度、降水確率は 10% となっています。天気予報でした。
貴重な情報どうも。
はい。これでロボ部員全員集合したね。できれば歩行テストをしたかったところなんだけど、そんな暇はないからぶっつけ本番だよ。いける？
最初から分かってたことでしょ。今さらノーゴーだなんて言わないでよ。
コンディションオールグリーン。最終判断はゴー。カイ、必ず戻ってこようね。
さあ、ここからは俺のゲームだ。だって俺は英雄でもなく軍人でもなくロボットアニメの主人公でもなく格闘ゲーマーなんだから。 頑張れる発進 はい、アップデート終わりってね。どこら辺が変わったのかさっぱりわかんないけど。はいはい。俺の名前は八潮海斗。中央種子島高校普通科3年2組。出席番号26番、成績は中の下。部活はロボット研究部に所属してますよ、一応ね。ロボットのことは詳しくなかったりするけども。得意分野は何を隠そう、ゲームだったりしちゃったりして。って、あれ
The post-update info messages have already disappeared from the screen. I guess I spent too much time yammering. I let out a tiny sigh and leave the dimly lit robot research club room. A refreshing early summer breeze blows by. It's like night and day compared to that cramped hot room. The moment I step outside, I stop sweating. With the cool breeze washing over my entire body, I take a look at the surrounding scenery on my phone droid. We usually see lots of typhoons this time of the year, but today seems like a nice day. The sky extends high and wide, endlessly blue. It's already turning to the color of summer. This place is about 40 kilometers south of Kagoshima's Osumi Peninsula. I live here on Tanegashima, right next to Yakushima, famous for being a World Heritage Site. This island, on the other hand, isn't really noteworthy outside of Matchlock rifles and our rocket launch site. Central Tanegashima High is right at the center of the island. It's one of the only 2 high schools in the area, actually. Over 10 years ago, there was an anime set here that got popular, but that's our only real point of pride.
じゃあまあ、アップデートしたことだし、ちょっと試してみますかね。
It's then that I hear a voice in the distance calling for me by my nickname. There are only a handful of people who call me that. Looks like our precious club president is back.
ちょうどいいや。ポケコンで気になるあの子をロックオンしてみるかな。
Akiho Sinomiya shows up at just the right moment as I capture her with the screen of my phone droid. Hmm. We're in the same grade. She's what you would call a childhood friend. We go by the nickname Kai and Aki-chan.
あ、またゲームして遊んでる。
ゲームじゃないって。イルオがアップデートしたんでね、それを試してるんだ。アキちゃん、猫耳つけてあげるよ。
I don't know how to acquire. I don't know how to go. I don't know how to go to the tips. It's not escape. I'm not seeing any any discussions on Steam about controller support. If anybody in chat knows how to pull that up. I feel like there should be a keyboard control somewhere, right? Because it's not. Yeah, I'm not seeing anywhere in the discussions anything about what the buttons are. Maybe if I just search for it on Google, robotics, notes, read, keyboard bindings. Because I really need to know that for also. Nope, that got us to auto. Nope, that's not what we want. Oh, there we go. Here we go. We're getting somewhere. We are getting somewhere, okay. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Cat ear mode. IRUO exclusive app. When booted up, it auto recognizes the person inside the screen and automatically puts cat ears on them. It also displays a pink AR made outfit as an added bonus, all for free. Matchlock gun, a gun which is loaded by filling the muzzle with a bullet and gunpowder. It fires bullets by lighting a fuse. In 1543, it was introduced by the Portuguese that landed on Tanegashima. Near the end of the Sengoku period, they drastically spread until Japan became the world's largest gun-possessing country at the time. Yakushima, an island located about 60 kilometers south of Osumi Peninsula in Kagoshima Prefecture, 20 kilometers west of Tanegashima, 20 kilometers. It's about 504 square kilometers. Weather is subtropical. Average temperature is 19 degrees Celsius throughout the year. The 9th largest island in Japan, and registered as World Heritage Site in 1993. Mount Noritake is the highest mountain in Kyushu at 1,936 meters high. World Heritage, a location registered per the rules of the Convention Concerning the Protection of the World Cultural and Natural Heritage by UNESCO, United Nations Education, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. It can be a cultural, natural, or mixed heritage. The goal is to preserve valuable ruins, nature, and landscapes. Osumi Peninsula, a peninsula located in Kagoshima Prefecture, just south of Kyushu. When seen on a map of Japan, it is easy to remember it by spotting Sakurajima, where it rests with Sasumi Peninsula to the west and Osumi Peninsula to the east. Tanegashima, an island located about 40 kilometers south of Osumi Peninsula and 20 kilometers west of Yakushima. The area is about 445 square kilometers with a subtropical climate. Average temperature is 19 degrees Celsius, the 10th largest island of Japan. Phone Droid, fiction, a tablet-style pocket PC with a 7-inch HD screen, nicknamed Popcom in Japan, despite having nothing to do with the pocket computer released in the 1980s. In 2012, it made a boom to replace the cell phone. The newest version includes PhoneDroid OS 4.2 and includes multiple apps like video calling, internet browser, TV, games, mini blog apps, and a camera. There are over 3 billion users in the world. Central Tanegashima High, a public high school located in Nakatane-cho, Kumageiko-gun, Kagoshima Prefecture. It was founded in 2008, but before then the school existed with a different name. One of the only 2 high schools in Tanegashima. Mostly kids from the south side of the island go there. It features co-education with a regular course and information processing course. As of April 2019, it has a total of 278 students. AI, artificial intelligence. AI appears in all sorts of ways, from control systems with self-learning abilities to programs with memorized human routines. IRUO, a worldwide image dissection street view application. It can update the photos, videos taken on a camera finder by the phone droid users in real time. Anyone can easily geotag the background and share it to all users. It features functions like texture match moving technology, picture recognition, and location matching. The texture match moving tech is applied on 3D images, which allows you to put annotations on the person in the picture and not just the background. Currently it is... How do I scroll text? Let's see, what are those key bindings? Looks like the bookie in this thingy? There it is. Currently it is automatically installed on 80% of phone droids being sold, which is said to boast over 200 million users worldwide, created by Japan's Happiness for You company Ltd in 2010. App stands for Application Software, a program that you can use by installing it onto a certain OS. Gun Barrel. Mobile Battler Gun Barrel aired from 2012 to 2015 in a 3-part series. As of 2019, it was the last robot anime made in Japan and featured a total of 155 episodes and 39 volumes of Blu-rays. They took a unique approach toward marketing and aired the show in 110 countries before releasing in Japan, which caused a boom in other countries since ahead of Japan.
Stay moist, my friends. Hydrate.
4 years have passed since it aired, but is still described as a godlike anime all over the world. People say no other anime will ever beat it, which is why no robot anime has been made since. It was created to target boys in middle school and higher, but made toys like another robot anime. But the motive of Egyptian mythology as a backbone for the story and powerful 3D CG made it popular enough to even have its own movie. The story is about Genki Dodo, the main character, who pilots a martial arts robot and gets transported to the past, present, and future. Season 1 opening theme was done by a gothic band called Phantasm. AR, Augmented Reality. Technology to display digital information. A typical example of this are apps that can set virtual effects and letters over an image taken from a camera. Gyro sensor, a sensor to measure turning angle velocity, is used on robots to correct posture and prevent falling. Actuator, means to make something move or work. The actuator, is the driving gear. The motors and oil pressure devices actuate the robot. Ajarimos, means welcome in Tanegashima dialect. A banner featuring this phrase welcomes visitors to the Tanegashima airport. So there are 217, that looks like. That's quite a few. Okie dokie. So that's how we get to the that. Cool. Any other buttons I should be aware of? System menu is always good. Okay. Okay, so this is some sort of daily records thingy. Not sure what's up with that. Okay, and we can also just access the tips list here if we don't want to try to remember how to do that. Here's the help button. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so if I ever forget what the buttons are, we can just press 1 and then come here. Auto mode, help, exit game, tips, system menu, load, save, daily record, config. Okay. Text, scroll tips, select message. Bone droid trigger, whatever that means. Okay. 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 Okay, 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 okay. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Okay, let's keep going then.
にゃんにゃんなんつって
This thing is pretty awesome. Not only does it add cat ears to her head, it also gives her a maid
はい
outfit.
本気だな
Kai is me, of course, short for Kaido. Akiho lets out a sigh and takes a sip from the bottle in her hand.
こういうピンチな時は力を合わせて頑張らなきゃいけないっていうのに
ピンチなの
ピンチだよこの状況見ればわかるよね
Akiho points to the robot club room located next to the soccer club equipment storehouse. I guess people assumed this little shed would never be used as a proper club room. Our space has 2 rooms, but one is used for storage, so the only one that can hold actual people is the left room. That said, it's way too cramped with 2 people inside. Try and relax there, I dare you. Even worse, we only have a single lamp and no AC. It's too cold in the winter and too hot every other season. If hard times refers to being forced to spend time in the club room, then I totally get why Akiho would say that.
までも芝生は意外と気持ちいいよ
On days when it's not raining anyway,
そういう問題じゃなくて
Cat Akiho dejectedly returns to the club room after hearing my response. She sits on one of the only 2 round chairs in the room and takes a sip of her juice again. As I enter, sweat beads form on my forehead. Summer's only just got started. I'm going to die when it gets going.
今日も教頭先生のところに行ってきたの
行ってきたけど会議中でまた会えなかった 教頭先生忙しすぎだよ
Are you sure she isn't just avoiding you? As soon as the school year started, the Robot Club had its budget annihilated. As the president, Akiho's been doggedly negotiating for club funds, but I can tell they aren't taking her seriously. That said, the fault probably lies in Akiho for ridiculously demanding a tenfold increase last year.
部長さんはいろいろ考えなくちゃならんことが多くて大変だね
大変だけど充実はしてるよ
Akiho smiles grimly and thrusts her fist into the air.
ちょっぴり焦りもあるけどね
えらいえらい
会はほんと人事だねロボ部はもううちと会の2人しかいないんだよ少しはそれを自覚してほしいんだけどな
The Central Tanigashima High Robot Research Club, also known as the Robot Club. Its history goes back 9 years. It all started with a girl named Misaki Sinomiya, a first-year student at the time. Yes, that's right. She's the older sister of the girl pouting in front of me right now. I call her Misani. She made the Robot Research Association. Then a year later, it became a club in recognition of its achievements. In its golden days, it had nearly 20 members. It even won Robo 1, a Tokyo hobby robot turning 8 years ago. Hobby Robot, 30-centimeter robots released in the 2000s, mainly refers to robots that walk with 2 feet and are able to be remotely operated. In late 2010, it became extremely popular due to the DIY models being released for cheap. At the same time, PCs became widely spread, which allowed the robot to be easily programmed. That was then. Now the club is on thin ice, if that wasn't obvious from our club room and total of 2 members.
いやでもほら俺ってロボットとかあんまり興味ないし。
知ってる。これだけうちが会議洗脳作戦を続けてるのに全く効果なしだ。
When Akiho says brainwash, she means her efforts to get me to watch all kinds of robot anime. Probably. If anything, her doing it non-stop since elementary school has had the opposite effect. I don't want to touch the stuff.
アキちゃんの熱意は立派だけど空回りしてることにはそろそろ気づくべきだと思うよ。
してるかな。
してるね。新入部員が2年連続でゼロなのはアキちゃんが空回りした結果なわけだし。
ああ、そっか。
Until a few years ago, it was a prestigious club, but its rep is so low now that people call it worthless. Ironic considering the rest of the world is going through a robot boom. Till last year, the tech prep room in the main building was our home. It had issues. It was too dark, but it was better than this.
でも聞いてかい。あの人がかつてこう言ってた。
Akiho quickly puts on her red-framed glasses. By the way, these glasses are just for show.
まだだ。まだ終わらんよって。
The he she's referring to is a character from a super famous robot anime. He doesn't actually
無
exist.
駄に前向きだね。アキちゃんらしいよ。
そう？だったら会も見習っていいよ。ちなみに勝手に猫耳生やさないでくれないかな。
かわいいね。にゃーにゃー。
もう怒るよ。そんなアプリは削除。
Fine. I was getting kind of tired of the thing anyway. Plus, it was free. I'll live. I turned cat ear mode off and delete it from my phone droid. I leave the club room behind me and sit down in the shade of a nearby tree. This is my special after-school spot. It's way more comfortable than the club room, as long as it's not raining. It's part of my daily routine to sit here and game. Now that the IRUO update is finished, it's about time I get started. I whip out my phone droid and boot up Kill Ballad from among the apps. Kill Ballad, Mobile Battler Gun Barrel Kill Ballad Online, Kill Ballad for short, an online first-person shooter robot fighting game. Platform is the phone droid operating software. Released in August of 2017, planning and development was done by Frau Kojiro Factory, an independent production.
キルバラ起動。リーダーボードはどうなってるか
The first thing I always do after starting up Kill Ballad is check on the leaderboards.
な。やれ
As usual, I can't help but sigh. For the record, my account's Zumi Show. In other words, I'm ranked 5th place in the world right now. Apparently Killbout has about 20 million active users worldwide, so being number 5 is pretty amazing. The top hasn't changed for about half a year. I want to be the best, so it sucks that I can't break those 4. As you can see, Killbout is a fighting game based on Gun Barrel. It's part of the recent worldwide robot boom I mentioned earlier. Plus, it's based on a legendary robot anime, a huge hit still worshipped as a godly masterpiece around the world. The game was released on the Phonoid, a platform everyone owns. It's an indie game, but its combat is crazy deep. These qualities helped Killbout become a huge success, downloaded 50 million times worldwide. That's KB. Honestly, because of Akiho, I have no interest in Gun Barrel. I'm just addicted to Killbout as a game. There are even lots of students who play it at school, and yet nobody even bats an eye at our little club. Pretty sad. I'd recognize the handle name of the player I matched against. Frau Kojiro. This is the creator of Killbout. They're a genius programmer shrouded in complete mystery. All anybody knows is that they created Killbout. This is my first time getting matched with them. That said, I had heard rumors that the game's creator was playing online. I guess they were true.
作者と対戦できるなんて光栄じゃないの。
I'm starting to get hyped. I correct my sitting posture and focus. Show me your moves. KB doesn't use a stick for inputs. It has a combo system that involves timed button pressing in succession. In general, as long as there's no input error, once the first hit lands, you'll link the rest of the combo together. That said, some of the combos have pretty harsh timing requirements, which means you need to have a good eye. And it's not like your opponent is just going to sit around and let you land a hit. Once you enter the top 10 world rankings, battles mostly become about reading your opponent's moves. Being countered and crushed before you can do much is the norm. Reading your opponent and countering counters is key. In fighting games, it's all about choices made down to a single frame. You gotta read and make the right choice. Frame. A word used to describe the measurement of time in a fighting game. One frame is usually 1/60th of a second. That's what determines who wins and loses. Of course, that's not everything. You gotta consider character specs, plus the issues that lag raises, but mastery down to a single frame, that's the height of skill for a fighting game player. I say that, but it's probably impossible to distinguish individual frames by eye. Either way, you basically just have to be constantly watching your opponent's moves. Nonchalant advances, retreats, and even crouching are parts of the puzzle. You have to be able to read into that. The second you take your eyes off the opponent, they'll strike at an opening. You can never let your guard down. It's also important to be able to make out a player's habits. Being able to see patterns faster changes your accuracy. By the way, I'm not trying to brag, but my reaction time is pretty good. I think I average about 4 frames when reacting by sight. I can come up with 4 moves within 8 frames. This is about my average. When I'm in the zone, I could deduce the winning option within those 8 frames. 2 moves are common textbook options. One is about getting ahead of the opponent's intentions. The last utilizes a super difficult combo to confuse them. I pick one of these 4 patterns depending on the situation. The confusion combo looks cool but has no real practical use. Sometimes the top ranker's gotta show off, right? Regardless if I have 8 frames, I can crush any technique that comes my way. Well, if I see it coming. Like I explained earlier, a real fight is about reading moves. That means stuff doesn't always go according to plan. Anyway, let's get this party started.
いやーどうもお目にかかれて光栄です。どうかお手柔らかに。もしもーし。おいちゃんはやらない人か。
Voicha, A tablet-style pocket PC with a 7-inch HD screen. Nicknamed Pocom in Japan despite having nothing to do with the pocket computer released in the 1980s. Voicha, short for voice chat, to communicate by voice in online games.
へえ、結構普通の攻めをするんだ。教科書通りだけど面白みはないかな。対処法も考えやすいってね。作者だからこその弊害ってやつかもね。失礼。はい、ご苦労さんと。さすが作者だけあって癖をよく理解してるよ。でもだからこそ攻め方がオーソドックスすぎかな。読みやすかったっていうか、同じ期待ってのも俺に有利に働いたかもね。お、ボイチャじゃ無視したのにメッセージ送ってくれるってどういうつもりかな。
I should open it. My bad for the sudden message, LOL. I send messages because I never use voice chat. I hate to say this, but people suspect you might be using cheats. Umi Sho Shi. Bakcha said your reaction time seemed physically impossible. I mean, that's what the person who reported you said, LOL. Crap. If you have anything to say about the authenticity of this rumor, please let me know.
なんだこれ。俺がチート使ってるってそんなのあるわけないでしょうか。
Cheat. Game lingo. To modify game data using altering tools. Recently, games have been developed with intentional cheat modes. Secret commands are one type of cheat mode.
とんだ言いがかりだね、まったく。
As a fighting game player, being suspected of cheating is the ultimate blow to my pride. Get the hell out of here. I do not cheat. I log off without replying to the message. Who made up such a stupid lie and reported me for cheating? I'm really pissed off now. If Frau Kojiro is the creator, they can just check my account and settle this that way. They wouldn't find a
って
thing.
いうか、チートなら俺より上位の連中の方がよっぽど怪しいけどね。
I'm not being jealous, I swear. After fighting them countless times, I've got a feel for how they move and play. That's why I'm so confident in my assertion. I can tell whether someone's cheating or not after one match. This is turning into a bit of a rant. I need to stop while I'm ahead. I look up from the screen, stretch, and put away my phone droid. Twippo, the name of a mini blog app. You can write tweets which are limited to 140 letters. Other users' tweets will show up on your timeline if you're following them. You can chat on Twippo as well. The Elude Map, a map application for phone Droid OS, able to sync with GPS and IRUO. I don't have much to do, so I stare out at the scenery. The leaves rustle above my head. There are no students on the courtyard lawn or in the informatics classroom nearby. As for the sports clubs, they've gone to practice at the Nakatane-cho Central Athletic Park, 20 minutes away from here. Okay, so I can now open this thingy. Oh, I'm on the map. It's a map. Look at that, it's a map. Because he was a spoiled brat, Akipopun Akiho Sinomiya. Was that the red comet? Going to go to club room, storm and stress, energy explosion. Going to go to tea time with Yamada from Japanese class. Yamada is a nice guy. Going to go to club room, storm and stress, energy explosion. I can see you really screaming. You at the club room? I am. Vice principal didn't come. Didn't see her again. Maybe it's in the letter? Not here. I wonder if Vice Principal is in today. Get encouraged by watching the gun barrel OP, because he was a spoiled brat. Robot Research Club, Supervisor Mitsuhiko Nagafukada. Soccer Club Equipment Storage, Supervisor Toshihiko Tanaka. Surf Club Equipment Storage, Supervisor Shugo Uebibuchi. Volunteer Group, Supervisor Fumiko Mizukawa. Interesting. Okay. Not sure how I feel about that. As for the sports club, they've gone to practice at the Nakatane-cho Central Athletic Park 20 minutes away from here. All I can hear are the cries of crows and other small birds. The gentle sound of plants rustling in the cool breeze. The school is quiet after hours. It's almost as though time itself has stopped. Or perhaps time has left this place behind. Maybe it's not just this school. Maybe the entire island has been left
ちょっと
behind.
少女趣味すぎっか。
なんだこと？
Akiho Sinomiya, born 4/13/2001, age 18, blood type A, lives in Nakanoshima, Mina Mitane Cho, Kumage-kun, Kagoshima Central Tanigashima High General Course. Year 3, Class 2 Club Robot Research Club. Akiho leaves the club room and walks over to me. I guess she heard me talking to
この
myself.
場所は時間から取り残されてるんじゃないかってアンニュイな気分に浸ったりしてたんだよ。
哲学的。
She really shouldn't admire me.
別の言い方すると、俺はこれからどうしようって思っただけだったりするんだけど。
これからどうするかなんて決まりきってるよ。
Akiho points her finger up at the sky.
なんとしても部品を手に入れる。そして今年中にガンツクマンを完成させるの。
In April, Akiho made an important declaration. Her words, not mine. As president, of course it was only me there. The plan is to complete Gun Barrel Prototype Model 1, Gun Build 1 within the year, before we graduate. And so she requested a tenfold increase to our budget out of nowhere. The VP flipped out and banished us here.
いや、じゃなくて、俺が言ってるのはさ、もう高3でしょ？あと1年もしないうちに卒業だよ。その後どうなるのかなってこと。
There are no colleges here. If you want to go to one, you gotta leave the island. As for work, going off island is the only choice. I've lived here my whole life. I've left for vacations and whatnot, but I've never lived off island. I have no particular aspirations to leave either. It's more a vague sensation of insecurity at having to leave at all.
考えたことないな。
もう6月なのに？
うちは今あの子に夢中だから。
今っていうか、もうずっとでしょ？
Akiho truly loves robots from the bottom of her heart.
でもそれにうつつを抜かしてて、浪人だなんてことになったら目も当てられないよ。何しろ、ロボットを完成させた後も、俺たちの長い人生は続くわけだからね。
Completing it doesn't mean we all live happily ever after. Roll credits. We've got regular lives to live.
まあなるようになるって。なんでそんなナイロが持ち出すかな。
なえるのは確かだね。
もっと希望的観測のもとに突き進むべきだと思うよ。なんだったら走りますか？
どこへ？
夕日に向かって。
自分が走りたいだけでしょ。しかもまだ夕日なんて出てないし。
気分だよ気分。
アキちゃんってたまに根性論唱えるよね。
じゃなくて諦めなければ願いはきっと叶うんだって。
人はそれを根性論というのよ、アキちゃん。キャラ性能のせいで始まる前に勝敗が決まっちゃってることもあるって覚えとくといい。
あ？
So it's entirely true that I've done no prep when it comes to what I want to do after high school. I blame it on the illusion that time has stopped on the island. It just makes you forget about the future entirely. You end up thinking that things will just go on like this forever. And I don't mean that in the sense that I hope these perfect days will never end or whatever. When time stops, so too does your ability to think. And yet, even when you realize this is the case, it's still a pain in the ass to try and think about what comes next. In the end, I don't care what happens, as long as I can keep gaming. That's how I continue putting everything off. Akiho stretches out as though she's putting a period on the conversation.
でさ、これから整備のためにハンガー行こうと思ってるんだけどな。
Hangar, a storage faculty used for maintenance, replenishing, or for standby for a vehicle. The Robot Club has its own hangar. The dream that Akiho and the Robot Club have been working on is stored there.
頑張ってよ部長さん。
アイも一緒に来てよ。
ふん。だったら分かってるでしょ。
またやるの？
当然。いつも言ってるよね。俺を従わせたいなら勝負に勝ってもらわないと。
I quickly whip out my phone droid and take
ジル
position.
バラ一本勝負。やる？
Akiho replies unenthusiastically and takes out her phone droid in
うち
resignation.
が勝ったら本当に言うこと聞いてもらうからね。
勝てたらね。0-10ではないだろうけど。
0-10 are her odds of winning. There's a 0% chance that Akiho wins, and a 100% chance that I walk away the victor. I chuckle to myself and boot up Kill Ballad.
"少しは腕上がったか見せてもらうよ。
手加減なしだからね。これで負けたら400連敗。それだけは。
数字適当すぎだよ。多分それよりずっと俺が勝ってる。ああ、そうきちゃう。ふん。あきちゃん、落ち着いてやった方がいいよ。はい、俺の勝ち。あきちゃん、相変わらず弱いね。
こんにゃろ。
あ、ちょっ。
Akiho suddenly starts ruffling my hair with both of her hands. She's always been like this. Whenever she gets too frustrated, she messes up my hair. What did my hair ever do to her?
もっと容赦してくれないんだから。
いや、手加減なしって言ったのそっちでしょ。
Plus, my fighting game philosophy is to always go full power, no matter who I'm facing. I watch with a wry smile as Akio stands up and storms off into the distance. Old Tanegashima Airport, Tanegashima. Whenever I come here, I can feel my spirits being lifted. It makes me want to run around like a dog, to be honest. A heroic piece of music starts playing in my mind. If I'm not careful, I'll start humming it out loud. The old Tanegashima Airport. It's about a 10-minute walk from school. It was closed down 13 years ago and abandoned, so nobody visits it now. It hasn't been maintained for years, so the asphalt is cracked and the weeds have moved in like they own the joint. While spacious, there's not much here. No electricity, and it's flat, which means the wind is super strong. I end up having to hold my skirt down. Still, it's the perfect environment for the Robot Club's hangar. Ordinary high school students would never be able to acquire such a wide, flat piece of land with nobody in sight. The airport apron in front of my eyes is about the size of the sports grounds, and an even longer runway continues past it. From end to end, it's about 1,600 meters long. It takes around half an hour to walk the whole way. It's also many times wider than the standard road. The spacious sense of liberation is great, something you could never feel on a regular roadway. Right now, Kai is lying down outstretched in the middle of the runway, phone droid in hand. After I lost to him quite soundly in our kill ballad match, Kai decided to slack away like no man has ever slacked. But you know what? He still came with me instead of going home, so I can't be too mad. He's just shy is all. I put those thoughts aside and take a key out of my pocket. The Robot Club hangar is at the edge of the airport apron. It was originally a parking garage for vehicles used to refuel fire trucks and aircrafts. You might ask, why are we using the airport's parking garage as a hangar? Patience. The reason is inside the building. I say to myself as I raise the shutters and step inside. It's so dusty in here it's making me cough. With no windows to be found, it's fairly dark. Enshrined in the center of that dark space is the materialization of the Robot Club's sweat and tears. The life-size gun barrel prototype Model 1, nicknamed Gun Build 1. When the Robot Club was first founded 8 years ago, this was its greatest goal, its dream. A project to build the giant robot of justice, gun barrel at life size, also known as the Gun Build Project. It's still incomplete, so the upper and lower parts are kept apart, but it'll stand over 10 meters tall when done. The final goal is to have a pilot ride inside and move it. The club has been chipping away at this for 8 years. Though, to be perfectly honest, it hasn't moved even once yet. One of the reasons it's taken so long is because high school clubs don't get much in the way of funding. I have a lot of respect for the founder for having the foresight to build a huge robot before the robot boom started. I say that, but the founding member and creator of the Gun Build 1 blueprints is none other than my older sister. She's got serious negotiating skills. When she founded the Robot Club, she also managed to acquire special permission to use this old airport. She even negotiated with the small workshops around the island so that she could get their scraps for free. She even convinced JAXA to give the club parts they didn't need anymore. It's thanks to her that the club robot is still using the old airport hangar and working on Gun Build 1 to this day. All around the world, huge companies are funding giant robot development. They obviously have deeper pockets than us. Compared to their robots, Gun Build 1 is a shabby, derpy-looking, and poorly performing relic. But I refuse to stop working on it. I want to complete it. This is a dream I inherited from the original members of the Robot Club. My sister's dream. Speaking of my older sister, she currently works at a company in Tokyo. She doesn't live on the island anymore. The current, and perhaps last, president of the Robot Club is none other than me, her little sister. There's gotta be some sort of meaning to all this. Maybe it's fate. It must be.
秋は何をやっても平凡止まりなのよ。
Without thinking, I grab my chest. It's tight. I feel like throwing up. I shake my head and slap my cheeks with my hands.
弾幕薄いよ。何やってんの？
I clench both my fists and psych myself up. I pull a can of oil from the shelf in the corner and pour it onto a portable oiler. Even though Gun Build 1 has never actually moved on its own, I still can't slack on maintenance. In fact, without exception, I bet past club members would all say that our main activity is maintenance, not building. You can't build something without parts, and we rarely get any of those. That's why there's been such little progress on that end. So in light of that, we kill time doing maintenance. Since Kai and I are the only remaining members of the Robot Club, it falls on me to do all the maintenance myself. Once a month I spend about an hour chipping away at the task alone. While working, I'm free from unnecessary thoughts. I just want to finish this machine as soon as possible. Even that impatience is blown away, so I honestly don't mind this kind of work.
じゃあやりますか。
With oiler in hand, I crawl into a shin of the lower portion of Gun Build 1. It's about 1.2 meters high. From that height, I can see Kai lying down on the runway.
手伝え。これは警告ではない。抵抗すれば撃つ。
I hold the oiler like a gun and aim it at
必
Kai.
殺頑張るアンクストライカーズドドニャ
I thrust out my fist. Of course, the runway is several hundred meters away, so there's no way Kai is going to react. I undo my pose. I crawl into the knee of Gun Build 1 and pour oil through the joint onto the cam of the servo motor.
この場所は時間から取り残されてるんじゃないかって安入意な気分に浸ったりしてね。
I recall what Kai said
取
earlier.
り残されてるか。
I never thought I would hear words like that from Kai, the guy who usually just games without worry in the world. But quite frankly, I don't really get difficult stuff like that. It's not like I have time to stop and think. This oversized child of mine, I need to complete Gun Build 1 no matter what. If I don't finish him by graduation, there will be no Robot Club members left to inherit the task of finishing him. That's why I need to complete Gun Build 1 with my own 2 hands, using the 6 months I have left.
赤坂。
I mutter the words of a certain someone in red whom I admire and continue pouring oil. Old Tanegashima Airport. Gunball Ankh Striker, a special move used by the robot gun barrel and mobile battler gun barrel. Ankh is a unique shape used in ancient Egypt, basically a rocket punch with an Ankh shape fired around it, mainly used as a finishing move in Season 1. Servo motor, a motor mainly used for machine tools, industrial robots, models, and remotely controlled machines. By giving orders to the servo drive, which acts as a control device, you can check the operating condition and adjust for errors. Servo in Latin means slave. Gun Build Project. Let's build a life-size gun barrel project. Known as Gun Build Project for short, this is the main goal and reason of existence for the Central Tanegashima High Robot Club. Misaki Sinomiya started planning it when she was a sophomore. Old Tanegashima Airport opened in 1958 as an airport with a runway 1,500 meters long. In March of 2006, the new Tanegashima Airport, Cosmoport Tanegashima, opened. Now the old airport is a ruin. I raise my eyes from my phone droid and see that the sky is darkened. I slowly rise up. Oh dang, work outfit is at the club room. Oh well. Maintenance, start. Is this youth? If it's KB, I can pull an all-nighter. Break time. You rarely get the reference. You have improved. I already tried. No response. LONSOW is already open. I was too engrossed and didn't notice how much time had passed. My head's kind of hazy. I guess my mind is still on the game. Those subtle screen shakes and that pseudo-heaviness in the input response are what I'm all about. Because I was lying on the hard ground, my back hurts. I wonder if Akiho is still doing maintenance. I peek into the hangar, but I don't see any sign of her. Gun Barrel Prototype Model 1 Lower Half. Production start date 7/16/2012. But I can tell she's here somewhere around the bottom portion of the robot below the knee. Akiho had crawled into a tight space with a pen light in hand and is currently doing some sort of work.
メンテ中。
ほらそこから覗き込まないでよ。
パンツ見えちゃうか。
見たら怒るからね。
A crouching heavy kick. She's full of openings, so I could guard, counter, and combo off a quarter of her life. Combo, game lingo, short for a combination, usually used for connecting moves in fighting games.
アキちゃんさ、いつも言ってるけど、制服のままで作業するのやめた方がいいと思うよ。
Akiho stores an old t-shirt and shorts in the club room that she could use for messy jobs, but she barely uses them.
だって部室に忘れちゃったんだもん。
She went through the trouble of having work clothes around, yet she always forgets them in the club room.
更衣室もないし。どうせうち以外にここで作業する人なんていないし。
Akiho keeps moving her hands as she makes excuses for herself. Is that a subtle jab at the fact that I don't help?
油汚れ落ちにくいよ。
Grease stains.
別にいいよ。なんか勲章っぽいじゃない。
ふん。やっぱりアキちゃんってずれてるな。そういうこと言う女子高生ってなかなかいないよ。
Looks like she's finished. Akiho comes crawling out. She brushes off her dirty uniform with her hands.
チェック終わりっと。
お疲れ。
She tucks away her pen light. She was probably just checking to make sure everything is still in order.
んね。うちの何がずれてるって？
油汚れを勲章だとのたまう女子高生はさ、そうそういないよ。
のたまうって引っかかる言い方だな。自覚はあるけどね。
自分を異質だって認められるのはすごいね。
カイは自分を異質だと認めてないの？
俺はゲームの腕は変態的だけど、それ以外は至って凡人のつもりなんだけど。
ゲームしか興味ないカイは十分変人でしょ。
Despite the self-depreciation, Akiho's eyes are twinkling as she grasps my hand. Is this bromance? Her hand is sticky with grease, but she doesn't seem to care. Akiho starts nodding like she agrees with herself. Central Tanegashima High Robot Club hangar, currently occupied. Overseer Airport Administration Office, phone 997-XX0209. Central Tanegashima High Robot Club equipment. Do not throw away. Do not take. After washing our hands, we close the garage shutters and lock up. Since there are no streetlights near the abandoned airport, it turns pitch black at night, which is precisely why we need to leave before that happens.
そういえば。
As we walk, Akiho suddenly pulls out her phone droid. The Fink toy attached to it swings back and forth. It's grimy as all heck. Fink, a cute mascot character from the anime Gun Barrel. I keep telling her to replace it with a new one, but she seems to have no intention of doing
さ
so.
っきを見てたら改装中だったエブリデイが論争になってたよ。
本当に？
ほんと見たらわかるよ。
Every day is a convenience store near our houses. The only convenience store in Mitanecho, actually. They started remodeling about half a year ago, so it's been closed. Did they just turn it into a new store? Let's take a look on my phone droid. I start up the load map. I use the World Virtual View function on IRUO to look at Mina Mitanecho. Sure enough, there's Alonso. Alonso Mina Mitanecho branch. Open 24 hours. Grand opening event. Items available at 10% off through the 25th.
帰りに寄ってこうっと。
でも人が殺到してるかもね。
ああ、レジ待ちがすごそう。エブリデイが最初できた時もそうだったもんね。あの時ってうちら小学生だったっけ？確かアネモネと同じ年。
Akiho suddenly stops talking. Anemone. Now there's an unpleasant name I would rather forget.
明日も教頭のところに交渉に行くつもり？
I intentionally changed the subject. For the last 2 or so weeks, Akio has been heading to the faculty room after
待
school.
ってるだけじゃ何も進まないから。
無駄に前向きだね。
I often say those words to Akiho. She's always like this, overly optimistic.
それだけが取り柄だからね。
Every time Akiho returns those words to me, she bashfully smiles.
で、カイも一緒に来る？ねえ来る？
明日は普通で部活には遅れていくから。
それは大変ですね。
Akiho laughs in astonishment. Whenever we go to the hangar, we keep our scooters parked in the lot in front of the terminal. Old Tanigashima Airport Terminal. No trespassing. Airport Administration Office. M1361X, or is that I? Me? MI36? Konda Super Club, registered by Kaido Yashio, registered on 3/7/2017. Central Tanigashima High, registration number 92. MA808X, Konda Super Cub, registered by Akiho Shinomiya, registered on 3/30/2017. Central Tanigashima High, registration number 121. From Airport Administration Office. This airport is no longer in use. No trespassing allowed. Whenever, yeah. Alright, right, that one, yes. We live in Mina Mitanecho in the south. School is 15 kilometers away, so commuting by scooter is allowed. I leave the key in. Nobody around here would steal it, and walking around with it would be a pain in the ass.
まっすぐ帰る？
アキちゃんはどうしてもコンビニに寄りたいんだよね。
B コップでもいいよ。
要するに買い食いしたいと。もうすぐ晩飯の時間なのに。
分かったよ。まっすぐ帰る。
体調は大丈夫？
平気。
This is like a ritual before we ride our scooters. I always ask how she feels. If she's not well, we rest. And if she still isn't feeling well after that, we leave the scooters here and go home some other way. She was involved in a scooter accident once. Her injuries were minor, but what if they had been fatal? I straddle my scooter, put on the ugly helmet required by the school, step on the kick pedal, and start the engine. Akiho puts on the track jacket she left on the scooter handle, slips on the same ugly helmet, and we're ready. Time to head home. It takes around 40 to 50 minutes to get from school to Akiho's house. By the time we arrive, the sun is long gone. By the way, my house is really close, not even a minute away by scooter. After parking the scooter in front of her house, Akiho takes off her helmet and waves to me.
じゃあねカイ。ノッチよ。
ノッチよ。
This is our unique greeting. In the Tanigashima dialect, it roughly means let's meet again. Misani originally started using as a code word, so Akiho and I picked it up too. To be honest, it's not something that comes naturally. I have to intentionally use it.
Stream elements. Said. Stay moist, my friends. Hydrate.
Only elderly people use that dialect these days. Akiho sees me off as I headed home. I cast my gaze up at the night sky. The northern region is steeped in red, almost like it's oozing blood. That's the aurora. Aurora, A luminous phenomenon visible from the North or South Pole and places near them. This occurs when the magnetosphere is disturbed by solar winds. The idea is the same as a fluorescent light. The famous auroras are shaped like a curtain, but there are other shapes as well, like the sky itself lighting up dimly. The name originated from Aurora, the goddess of dawn in Roman mythology. It's not quite the same as the famous aurora everyone knows, the beautiful one that's kind of shaped like curtains. Apparently an aurora takes on that shade of color at lower latitudes. The sun is abnormally active now, so this has led to the world being able to see auroras since a few years ago. Back then I mistook it for a wildfire or something in the distance. But now I'm totally used to seeing it. I don't really feel one way or the other about it. That color in the sky is just another part of my everyday life. My ordinary, unchanging days. My life on this island repeating endlessly. It's hard to believe it'll all be coming to an end in 6 months. But for now, I'll just focus on getting home and eating dinner. The sky is so blue it's crystal clear. Day after day of cloudless skies, almost to the point of tedium. The weather is pretty important around these parts, especially because it tends to rain a lot this time of year. If it's just a light rain, I can wear a raincoat and commute to school by bike, but I would rather it just be nice out. The wind striking my face has a scent of summer, or at least that's what it feels like. You know, greenery and stuff. Riding a scooter in the summer is way nicer than during the winter, by a long shot. Although I bet that holds true around the world, not just on this island. Akiho is driving in front of me, her skirt flapping around in the wind. Every day I get nervous about her accidentally flashing everyone, but her guard is unexpectedly tight. We stop our scooters at the convenience store near the school. One might call me a regular here at the Irie General Store. Irie, Irie, Irie. I'll be going ahead. Yes, you will. I lightly wave to Akiho in response before entering the store.
いらっしゃい。
Exoskeleton Company. Exoskeleton Development Company Ltd. is the company that invented and sold power-assisted suits and exoskeleton upgrades. HUG. However, in the late 2010s, they jumped on the robot boom and grew to become a global company. Now they produce not just for welfare purposes, but also provide for the military, security forces, and other fields where HUG can be used. In 2018, it was ranked the #1 place that college students in Japan want to work. HUG, Helpful Unlimited Gear, power-assisted suit released by the Exoskeleton Company, mainly aids in movement by attaching it to your legs and arms. Jumping on the robot boom in the late 2010s, it received worldwide praise, largely provided to welfare-type corporation, but also used by police and military teams. It uses graphene, a material that won the Nobel Prize in 2010 to enhance weight reduction and raise durability. It was made widely available for a cheap price, which helped with its success. By 2015, it sold 1 million units, and in 2018, it sold a remarkable 3 million units. That's a lot of units. HUG HUGR3 Hayate. Registered number EO1033999284. Registered date 9/2/17. Sold by Exoskeleton Development. Support Center number. Nope, not what I meant to do. Wrong button. Fruit Sour Melon soft drink sold by Minami Nihon Rakuno Kyoto Company Ltd. Skull White carbonated soft drink also sold by Minami. Not the one I meant to press. Yeah, that is the same company, right? Yeah, Minami Nihon. Brand new passion fruit bun. Tanigashima Limited, only available here. Amazingly tasty. Benny-chan card. Are you collecting points? Receiving points. Gained by saving. Benny-chan card. Ongoing double the points campaign. Nakatane-cho Town Hall. The girl with the languid attitude sitting at the counter is Mizuki Irei-san. She's the daughter of the store's owner and works here on most weekdays. She's helping with the family business. She was Misani's classmate. In other words, I've known her since I was in elementary school. This older girl who barely even uses makeup has become somewhat of a minor celeb among students at my high school. With her easygoing personality, she speaks openly and frankly with all the youngsters who drop by here to shop. She was half paralyzed in a traffic accident in college, but thanks to the hug attached to her legs, she gets by. The hug is a power-assisted suit that quietly hit the medical care market in 2010, before the robot boom started. Despite not being a robot, the hug rode the robot wave and became huge with over 3 million units sold worldwide. Even on a rural island like this, you occasionally see people walking around with them in town. Hugs even get used for non-medical things. You'll see special features on TV about hug jogging and whatnot. I lightly nod my head at Mizuka-san.
どうも今日も綺麗で
She herself told me to compliment older girls, so I put her words into practice. Why she got to be so mean? I grab the usual 2 bottles of fruit sour melon from the drink corner and bring them to the register.
秋は
先に学校行ったよ
あいつ私をスルーするとはいい度胸だね
高校生は毎日買い食いできるほど蓄えはないんだよ
スコールは毎日飲んでるじゃないか
ごもっとも
次顔出したら2本買わせるからではい今日はこれいいのかい
Mizuka-san grins at me and points to the steamer next to the register, filled with meat buns, unko buns, and more.
それは用事がある時しか食べないんで
好きで食ってたのかと思ったよ
あんなゲロマズマンを冗談でしょ
かいうちの店の商品にゲロマズとか言うなな
ごめん
I try to laugh it off as I hand Mizuka-san the money for my drinks.
そうそうミッチーに言っといて
She grimaces like she suddenly remembered something.
さっさとプロテイン取りに来いって
Protein. Supplement which features protein as a main component, usually in powdered form. You drink it by mixing it with water, a bodybuilder's go-to.
ミッチーってこの店でプロテイン注文してんのなんで自宅に直接送ってもらわないんだろう
さあねあいつ今回は注文したくせに度忘れしてるらしくてちっとも取りに来ないんだ
Under the counter I see 4 protein bags with 5 kilograms written on them. The company probably shipped them by sea. Oh, Michi is Mitsuhiko Nagafukata's nickname. He's the PE teacher at school and the club advisor. Simple, right?
それ俺に言うんじゃなくてミッチーに直接言ってくれない電話とかで
私はポケコンなんか持ってない知ってんでしょ
It's weird for her to languidly boast about that. Mizuka-san is bad with machines. She brags about how the only things she can use are the register and her hug staff
じゃな
stuff.
くてさ店の固定電話があるでしょ
めんどい
I heard Michi was her classmate and friend, but maybe I'm misremembering.
だからかい伝言よろしく
She opens yesterday's newspaper. Guess we're done. She's like a grumpy old man. Poor store clerk behavior. Newspaper. In the current year, 2019, the amount of printed newspapers has gone down due to digital publication. Many local newspaper publishers have closed down. However, there is still strong support for newspapers. Even though the amount of pages and information has gone down, they still get published. She's so scary. I thought Misani was bad, but Mizuka-san is no slouch. Why are the women her age so terrifying? Or maybe those two are just special. Crap. I spent way too much time chatting with Mizuka-san. I need to hurry or I'm going to end up late. I reach the school gate and turn off the engine. It's a school rule that once you hit the entrance, you gotta turn off your scooter's engine and push it from there.
おう、おはよう。急げよ。あ、ミッチーだ。
Perfect timing. Michi is at the gate, greeting students as they arrive.
おいおい、ヤシオ。いつも教えてるだろ、長深田先生。な、わかるよな。だからミッチーって呼ぶな。
Sir Mitsuhiko Nagafukada Sensei, the fourth Esquire, is a graduate of the school and also the first president of the Robot Club. I started calling him Michi because Mizuka-san does. The habit then spread to Akiho.
長深田先生、さっき水香さんの店に行ってきたんだけど、プロテインさっさと取りに来いってさ。うわー、忘れてた。しかも今日金ないよ。どうするかな。
Michi enters panic mode and clings to me.
一つ教えてくれ。イレは怒ってたか。怒ってたんじゃない。あとあんまひっつかないでくれる。暑苦しいから。そうか。いいか、ヤシオ。お前にとっておきの情報を教えてやろう。イレを怒らせるとマジで怖い。以上だ。うん、それは知ってる。
Michi is basically a delinquent teacher. Well, he had better brace himself for the wrath of Mizuka-san. I sit down in my usual spot in the shade of the tree by the clubroom and gaze up at the sky. Started watching Firebird again and got hooked and watched 10 episodes. Look at the time. 20-minute morning match is 3:00. Good morning. So sleepy. Michi taught me some useless trivia. White hairs grow from other places in your head too. Vice principal isn't here today. Played 5 minutes, 1-0. Oh no! Forget the clubroom key? Silly, silly, silly Philly. After school, Akiho went to get the clubroom key from the faculty room, but she hasn't returned yet. It's been a while. It would be a pain to check the faculty room, and even more annoying if she got back while I was gone, so I'll chill. The sunlight is getting stronger. The single tree in the courtyard is becoming more and more important. I have nothing to do, so I open the web browser. I find the headline about a new hug model in the news column and casually tap on it.
こんにちは。エグゾスケルトン社ではただいまハグシリーズ販売300万台突破キャンペーンを行っております。本日ご紹介するハグ06カルマをキャンペーン中にお買い上げいただいた方全員に漏れなく1万円をキャッシュバックいたします。自動車、ポケコンと同じようにより身近に、より皆様の生活に密着する形であらゆる場面に対応できるハグ。それがこのカルマです。コンセプトは一家に一台の時代へ。 より簡単な着脱メンテナンスを可能にし、一度の充電による連続稼働時間も大幅アップに成功しています。性能についてはハグ05よりも全体で 15% 向上し、 100m 走で最速9秒59、垂直跳びで最高 4.92m を実現しました。従来のシリーズよりもさらに学習機能を向上させたハグ用 OS は、装着者のわずかな肉体の緊張からその後どう動きたいかを自動的に判断します。そのためより効果的、効率的にフォローすることができるようになっております。ハグ06カルマは全国のエグゾスケルトン社ディーラーにて予約を受け付けております。おかげさまで多数のご予約をいただき、現在からのご予約ですと発売日にお届けすることが大変難しくなっております。ご了承ください。あなたを支える心でありたい。エグゾスケルトン社は皆様との出会いをお待ちしております。
39,800 yen. So to get 10,000 off, that actually is a pretty good deal then, because that's like a third of the price off, right? Or 25% off. As expected, Misani is there. How long has it been since she started appearing on TV like this? After graduating 6 years ago, she went to college in Tokyo and now works at the flourishing exoskeleton company. She started doing PR work after her talents were recognized. She even makes appearances on TV as a hug test pilot. Commercials, leading hug demos, even working as an advisor for Hug Spark, a hug material martial arts tournament. Hug Spark, a next-generation fighting event using the sporting version of Hug, run by Exoskeleton. Started in 2016, it is held in America during the month of March. Special rules include that only standing moves are allowed, and that all athletes must wear a hug while they fight in a ring about the size of a tennis court. The speedy, intense battles continue to gain popularity. Misani is everywhere. Considering how active she is, it's no overstatement to say that she's crazy popular. Hell, people online refer to her as the pretty X-ski PR girl. She's more popular than your average pin-up model. X-ski, short for Exoskeleton Company. But all I want to do is scream out to the heavens. Don't be fooled, people. The Misani on TV isn't the real deal. I can't even begin to count how many times Misani made me bawl when I was in elementary school. Just thinking about it gives me chills. It's from Akiho. It's strange for her to call me while we're at school. I answer and Akiho's face appears on the screen.
今どこさ？
水金への店。
なんで？
ねえ、それより宿題やった？英語の。やってないよね。
Why is she so sure of that? Not that she's wrong, but... I shake my head, but for some reason Akiho smiles happily.
うちも
宿題っていつまでだっけ？
明日。
やっべ。
だからさ、合宿しようよ。宿題合宿。
自力でやるつもり？
ラッキーなことに時間はまだあるし、2人分の頭脳が揃ってるし、分担しよう。あの人もかつてこう言ってた。戦いとは常に2手3手先を読んで行うものだって。
今のアキちゃんは一手先すら読めてないと思うよ。でもまあ2人で分担する作戦には賛成。
そうこなくちゃ。
She's completely forgotten about cornering the vice principal. I guess we'll use our club time today to finish homework.
こうなるのを予想して、水金へのところにもう来てたりするんだ。
へえ、2手3手先を読んでるね。
でしょ。
I'll let her be happy with this victory.
腹が減っては戦はできぬだよ。なんかお菓子いる？リクエストあるのって買ってくから。
ゴチになります。
寝言は寝ていってくれるかな。後でお題はもらうからね。
そりゃ残念。
会への差し入れなら私が選んであげるよ。
I hear Mizuka-san's voice on the other side.
なあ、アキちゃん。水香さんの言うことは聞かなくていいから、フルーツサワーメロン買ってきて。
何さ、いつものじゃないのか。
Mizuka-san's sure is persistent. Besides, if I have the usual, I won't be in any condition to study.
じゃあ買ってくね。部室じゃなくて教室で待ってて。
少しでも自力でやっとくかな。
Akiho didn't take long to get back. We studied our best until sunset, but couldn't finish in time. I guess I'll just do the rest at home. Once again, Akiho charges off to the faculty room after class. It's stupidly hot outside, so I'm waiting in the classroom today, looking at Twippo to kill time. Twippo is a social media platform with limited word count posts on the internet. Phone droids have their own app for it. Each post is called a tweet, and they form a timeline on screen based on when they were posted. If you follow someone else's account, it'll display their tweets in your timeline too. I'm following around 100 people. If you follow a lot of people, your timeline basically gets flooded with constant updates. It's a real pain to try and keep up with it all like that, so you can split tweets into multiple lists. List A is for Club Robot members, and I guess you could say friends. Till last year, our club had more than 2 people in it. Given our current state, Akiho is the only one in List A. List B is made up of real-life acquaintances and people I know online. It includes my family, Akiho's family, Michi, and a few others. I have no friends around my age, and I don't follow many of my classmates. Thus, List B is mostly adults. List C is for others. That includes journalists in Tokyo and the official accounts for newspapers and news sites. If I look at List C, I can get a pretty good idea of what's going on in Tokyo. I don't really use List D. Even with the list split, they refresh within hours. I keep telling myself to at least check Twippo once a day. As I scroll through my timeline, I see talk about a new giant robot developed by Toyota in Tokyo. I guess they revealed the thing around lunchtime today. Actually, Akiho mentioned seeing this in the news. Maybe I should reply. You can directly respond to other people's tweets via the reply function. That said, I don't use Twippo that much, so I really only reply to the people in List A. You guessed it, that means Akiho's the only one I interact with. That should do it.
ねえ足尾、ちょっと頼みがあるんだけど。
Prince X is so cute. The design taste is so good that taste is good that even though it's a giant robot, I think it's cute. Toyota of the world. It would be amazing if we can put this electric engine in Gun Build 1. Maybe I'll go negotiate next time. Wonder if they'll let me borrow it for free. I'll send an email. I want to eat takoyaki. I do like takoyaki. Aren't you supposed to eat those on cold days? Why is the vice principal always out? Let's see, how do I switch tabs? Can I switch tabs? Help. It said buttons that for a controller, and I don't have a controller. So that's text scroll in the tips. Can you actually switch it? Maybe you can't. Because the text scroll tips doesn't switch it. Doesn't seem like I can really switch between them. Left and right doesn't do it, so I don't... No, it might be just that. It might be. Oh, today's chore duty. Mihama and Hayakawa. Yeah, because if it was, it would probably show up here. The controls for it would, so it's probably fine. One of my few classmates still around on cleaning duty talks to me. It's not that I look like I have free time. I do have free time, but I'm currently stuck in this room. Who knows when the Madam President is going to get back? I decided to turn down her request in the only way I know. Still muttering complaints, the two pick up the trash cans and exit the classroom. I'm alone now. Wait, if Hayakawa was seriously about to miss her bus, why couldn't Takahashi take out the trash alone? I considered shouting that at them, but that would be belligerent even for me. I'm aware that people consider me a pain, but this is my policy. I have no intention of changing it. Just when I'm finally about to enjoy a match of Kill Ballad, Akiho returns with a clubroom key in hand. The key is stored in the faculty room, so she has to go and pick it up every time we have club. I stand up from my seat. We exit the classroom and walk together toward the clubroom. I shrug my shoulders, indicating that I haven't. Subaru Hidaka. Authorized IRUO users only. To view this profile, please send a request for approval. To all students, do not run in the hallways. The moment she sees a certain male student, Akiho winces. His name is Subaru Hidaka, and he's a second year. You could call him Akiho's arch nemesis. At the same time, you could say he's the one person Akiho won't give up on trying to win over. I can already see the sparks flying violently between them.
やあやあ日高くん
Despite feigning cheerfulness, it's pretty clear that she's afraid of the younger boy.
ここで会ったが1年3ヶ月目というわけでさロボ部に入って一緒に正義の巨大ロボを作ろうよ
三流ロボ部に入るつもりなんてありません。
Subaru Hidaka perfectly KOs Akiho.
もう20回以上そう答えたはずですが。
でもほらロボ部にとっては日高くんの技術力が必要なの
関わり合いになりたくないんですよ、ロボ部とは。失礼します。
Without even a nod, Subaru Hidaka changes from his indoor shoes to his regular ones, then leaves. Akiho's face is bright red. She looks like she's going to start stamping her feet in anger.
あんなに嫌われてるのにアキちゃんもしつこいね。
また一言
I haven't the slightest clue why, but Subaru Hidaka is actively hostile toward the robot club. He was the one student who came to watch our club last year, but it wasn't long before he called us third rate. I get it. In terms of technical skills, Subaru is on a completely different level. In junior high, he apparently entered Robo 1 solo and won third place. He never entered again after that. According to Michi's info, he's even capable of repairing broken wristwatches. I understand why he looks down on us to an extent. If he ever joined the Robot Club, he would immediately be our ace. Heck, even though he's younger, he would probably make a better club president than Akiho.
俺たちが三流っていうのは確かでしょ。
カイがそういうこと言わないでくれるかな
事実は事実として受け入れないと。
分かってはいるけどはいその通りですなんて言えるわけないってば
All sorts of people make fun of our little club. It wasn't nearly this bad when Akiho and I joined up as new students. It's hard to say where it began, but I think it was after last year's new student club orientation. The seniors in club weren't the public speaking types, so Akiho gave the speech instead. That's where she screwed up. Akiho made a showy intro video about Gun Barrel Prototype Model 1 and the club members maintaining it. The BGM for the video was the Gun Barrel theme song, sung by Akiho herself. I'm sure you can imagine how all this went over. And so the only student who came to check our club out was Subaru Hidaka. He must have come to pick a fight. This year, Akiho and I ended up alone. She did her best to learn from her prior failures and didn't show the robot. But mid-speech, Akiho had an attack and was sent to the infirmary. Since I don't care about robots, it was over. So it made total sense that we couldn't get any new recruits. Plus, right after that, Akiho requested a 10-fold increase to our budget. The student council and VP snapped. As a result, even the underclassmen got a bad impression of Akiho burned into their minds. And so, our club and the gun build project became the objects of ridicule. Students started referring to it as homegrown scrap. Sure, compared to the high-tech robots being made by huge companies worldwide, ours is both ugly and super low spec. I've heard folks say that it still hasn't been completed after 8 years. It'll never get finished. They say it's a waste of club funds and that the budget would be better off given to other clubs. I can't argue with that. Hell, you could even argue that the Robot Club had been given too much special treatment up until now. And all that was because of the groundwork that Misani put in as a founding member of the organization. Since we're clinging to the work that others did before us, I'm sure the school looks at us like we're parasites. Anyway, I'm planning on really throwing myself into Kill Ballad today. Robot Club Equipment 2. Junk goes here, not for trash. Robot Club Equipment 1. Motor cords, screws, bolts, nuts here. Gun Barrel BD. Second season number 2 features episodes 5 through 8. Release date 2/28/2014. Sold by Animania HD. JAXA. Reaching for the skies, exploring space. We are JAXA. I can't access tips here, so that's mildly annoying, but we'll just have to make sure to remember rejects in a minute. Space Candy. Delivering you the freshness of space. Sold by Space Camp Candy Company Ltd. Tanigashima Machine 3. Central Tanigashima Hive Robot Club Honorary Press. Created 5/9/2010. Created by Misaki Sinomiya. Achievements: Robot 2010 Robot 1 Festival winner. Space Candy, a minty candy that is sold at JAXA faculties and events, as well as in the Kyushu area. Its catchphrase is, delivering you the freshness of space. Sold by Space Candy Company Ltd, which has 3 HQs in Nishino Omote. Yeah, that sounds right. JAXA, Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, an independent administrative institution created through the merging of the ISAS, NAL, and NASDA, National Space Development Agency. Their main focus is research development in space and aviation. Headquartered in Chofu, Tokyo, it features other aerospace centers, including Sagamihara, Kanagawa, Tsukuba, Ibaraki, and Shirodo, Nagano. There are space centers and observation centers throughout Japan. Uchin, Nora, and Tanigashima. Kagoshima contains 2 rocket launch sites, which are the only sites in all of Japan. As of 2017, there are about 1,100 employees. Welcome, Morie. Welcome on in. I hope you're having a fantastic existence. I think to myself as I set down my bag to the club room. Akiho says to herself and starts fiddling with her phone droid. Anime appears on screen. Is the climax right at the start or something? It only took her 5 seconds to recharge. I gotta hand it to her. It's impressive that she's recovered so quickly. She's even posing. Akiho is always like this with anime. The two of us can barely sit comfortably in here, yet she's flailing wildly. If only she would just go outside. How in the heck does she get so excited over something she's seen countless times? I ask without thinking too deeply about it, and Akiho's expression morphs She shoves the tablet screen in my face.
ああ、そうだった。
Now that I think about it, she was shouting its name earlier. I may not know much about robot anime, but that was a dumb question even for me.
そうだったじゃないよ。いつもうちの家で見せてあげてるでしょ。
Akiho's getting about as heated up as I expected. She's clearly still annoyed from her earlier encounter with Subaru, so she's more charged up than usual. That being said, she doesn't show me Gun Barrel. It's more like she watches it and I happen to be in the room.
それにカイがしょっちゅうポケコンでやってるゲームは
Akiho points at the tablet hanging from my wrist.
何のゲーム？
頑張れる。
うちの部が一生懸命作ってるあの実物大ロボは何のロボ？
頑張る。
ここに置いてあるブルーレイは
Akiho picks up the BD Blu-ray disc package sitting on the desk and points at the picture on the jacket.
一体何のアニメでしょう？
頑張れる。
正解。
She drops the frown and returns to a smile. By the way, that's the only BD we have. Hell, the club room doesn't even have a BD player or a TV, so it's useless.
カイ、そんなんじゃロボ部員失格だよ。
学ぶ姿勢っていうのはなってないんだよな。
自分で言わないでくれるかな。
まあ、さらに正直に言うと興味ないからね。
それはとっくに知ってます。
Akiho shrugs her shoulders in exasperation and for some reason pulls out the whiteboard in the corner.
まさか。
というわけで興味のないカイを今日こそ洗脳してあげよう。
Seriously? She always goes on
まず
forever.
はじめに頑張れるは神アニメである。
Here comes the hyperbole.
少なくとも21世紀に入ってからだと一番ヒットしたアニメ作品なのだ。ブルーレイの売り上げ枚数は未だに世界一。
In this age of the phone droid, everyone switched to cloud storage when it comes to media. Nobody buys stuff on discs. Of course, I don't dare voice any of this, as it would just make her talk longer.
やっぱりロボットアニメは最高だよね。日本人の男の子はみんなロボット大好き。
I'm pretty sure you're a girl, Akiho.
昭和の時代にあの鉄腕少年がお茶の間に登場して以来、ロボットの友達で憧れでヒーローでかっこいいものだったの。いわばジャパニメーションの象徴。それがロボット。人型のロボットに対する価値観が違う海外じゃ絶対に描けないものなの。確かに逆に日本人にしか理解できないものって言われちゃってたりもしたけど、でもね、頑張れるは違う。頑張れるも日本のアニメスタジオが作ってるんだけど、まず海外から放映を開始したの。日本の放送開始はその半年後で、その頃には世界中で熱狂的な話題になってたんだな。これがその熱狂に引きずられたわけじゃないけど、日本でも当然のようにすごい視聴率を叩き出して到来ってやつですよ。しかも終わり方もただの終わり方じゃなくて伝説級なんだよ。
I've legit heard this a billion times.
3年間続いたテレビシリーズの最終回はなんまさかの放映中止。そりゃあもう世界中でファンが暴動一歩寸前まで行ったぐらい大騒ぎになったんだから。その最終回はブルーレイには収録されてないし、関係者も誰も話したりしないして一切が謎に包まれてるわけ。あれからもう4年くらい経つけど、未だに最終回がどんな内容かを予想してる人がたくさんいる。それだけじゃなくて最終話のカット動画がネットには大量に溢れてる。ファンの中には放送しないことこそが頑張れる最終話に込められたメッセージなんだとか似た的な分析してる人もいるぐらいなんだよ。うちはこの最終回スタッフの壮大な挑戦状だと思ってるから。とにかく最 最終回の幻のまま放映されなかったことでガンバレルは一気に神アニメに進化したことは間違いないよ。っていうか今の世界的なロボットブームはガンバレルがきっかけだっていう説もあるくらいなのさ。
She sure can talk. I just want to play Kill Ballad.
ガンバレルは今でも世界中で愛されているアニメだし、これを超えることはできないでしょ。
そうガンバレルはさ、過去のロボットアニメと比べてどこが優れてるかって聞かれるとってなっちゃうんだ。でもなんていうのかな、ロボットアニメの半世紀の歴史の集大成って感じなの。誤解を恐れずに言えば歴代の名作ロボットアニメのいいとこ取りかな。ストーリーだって古くよく王道ヒーローものだし、でもその王道をとことんまで突き詰めてるおかげでね、とってもわかりやすいの。出てくるキャラもみんないい子ばっかりで感情移入できる。だからこそ熱くなれるし感動もできるわけなのさ。どう？今ものすごーく見たくなってきたでしょ。1話から全話マラソンしたくてたまらないでしょね。
Akiho's eyes sparkle as she attempts to instantly appeal to me. She's like a little boy talking about his hero. Heck, even I'm starting to get excited. Just kidding.
それでも俺は興味ないけどね。
もうひねくれ者。
っていうか、ロボットアニメについてそこまで熱く語る女子高生なんて飽きちゃうくらいだよ。
また洗脳失敗か。もういい、続き見る。
Akiho sulks and goes back to appreciating Gun Barrel. Uchogaoka Park, Tanegashima. The metal tower stands high above ground, quietly but accurately transmitting its noise into space. It's as though it's absorbing the sound from its surroundings, converting it into the noise it emits. The chirps of cicadas and crickets, the flaps of bird wings, even the sounds of leaping insects. No matter how carefully one listens, such sounds do not exist here. In the center of the tower, in a space 30 meters in radius, is what could be called a geyser of death spewing into hell. The grating sound is like a scream from the underworld.
実証実験経過
In this space filled with the silence of death, a young girl whispers.
ナンバー2887をお伝えします。
Her bare feet produce no sound with each step she takes as she looks up at the sky and whispers to nobody.
日本標準時西暦2019年6月12日18時9分現在。
She holds a single, pure white feather in her hand.
状況には変化ありません。
She whispers mechanically, with no sign of emotion. She shows no sign of minding the
以
noise.
上、実証実験経過ナンバー2887をお伝えしました。
Just then, the wind blows. It's strong enough to cause the plants to sway. However, neither the girl's hair nor the edges of her soft clothes budge an inch. Only the white feather in the girl's hand floats gently into the air. It melts into the dusk-colored sky, while her gaze follows the feather's path. The girl, expressionless until then, narrows her eyes in a somewhat heart-rending way. She quietly speaks into the wind.
その目、誰の目？
The first bell of the morning rings as we exit the bus and head for the entrance.
あ、鳴ってる。
Akiho doesn't even bother opening her umbrella as she steps off the bus and makes a dash for the entrance. Second campus tour, visitor reception. First campus tour, student entrance, open time 7 to 1800. Kagoshima Prefecture, Central Tanegashima High School, Noma Nakatane-cho, Kumage-gun, Kagoshima, Apartment 1, phone, website, etc. Maybe I'll ask Kamada. I'm glad I finished homework in time. Thank God we have somewhere to go home to. So glad. A place to go home? What are you talking about? I got too hyped and watched episode 24 of Gun Barrel, but it's raining. Meet at the bus station. Roger. She briefly turns back to me, but I wave her off with my hand. I'm sure they'll let it slide if I'm a few minutes late. I stroll to the entrance by myself. At that moment, I hear the strange shout of a girl and stop cold. That voice just now came from the gymnasium, didn't it? The door is still open, so I take a look. I see a lone girl inside. The first bell already rang, so what's she doing? There's nobody else around. The judo club uses the gym for morning practice, so I assumed she was one of them, but there's no judo-gi in sight. On closer inspection, I recognize her small animal-like stature, short haircut, and boyish baby face. I'm pretty sure she's one of my classmates. What's her name? Crap, I can't remember. I don't think we've ever really spoken to each other. I look through the tag information on my phone droid. Right, she's Juna Daitoku. Now I remember. We were in the same class last year. And she's in the karate club? Yeah, that matches up. She must be doing a kata right now. She silently yet furiously repeats a series of defensive body moves. The combination of precise movement and silence creates a unique sense of tension in the air. The speed at which she moves her fists is hard to follow by eye, and her occasional jump kicks are razor sharp. Maybe that's because she looks like a little boy. Or are katas like this no matter who does them? Anyhow, why is she practicing at a time like this? And in her school uniform, no less. She lets out a kind of cute shout as she thrusts her fist in front of her. She straightens out and bows. I guess she's done. She wipes the sweat from her brow like she's just finished a hard day's work and turns to exit the gymnasium. That's when she notices me. Juna Daitoku, born 8/10/2001, age 17, blood type O, lives in Masuda, Nakatane-cho, Kumage-gun, Kagoshima Central Tanegashima High General Course, Year 3, Class 1. Our eyes meet. To be honest, we aren't familiar enough to exchange morning greetings. Heck, I have no idea if she knows who I am. But now that we've clearly made eye contact, I can't just walk away without saying anything. I decided to greet her. She seems to remember my name, at
ま
least.
あ少し。
もしかしてずっと見てた？
見てたよ。
そっか。恥ずかしいな。
She starts squirming, her face bright red. She looks even more like a small animal now.
いつもこの時間にあれやってんの？
今日はたまたま今朝弟が風邪ひいちゃってバタバタしててうちで練習できなかったから。
へ
それで今見たことは誰にも言わないでほしいな。
え。なんで？
だって恥ずかしいもん。
そうなの？
そうだよ。
For some reason, we stand silently for a while. This is really awkward, I'm not gonna lie.
それよりよれなっちゃったよ。早く行かなきゃ先生来ちゃう。
ああ、そうだった。
じゃあ先行くね。
Juna Daitoku says hurriedly and runs off toward the entrance. Her steps are light, like she has springs on her feet.
Stream Elements said, "Stay moist, my friends. Hydrate."
From behind, she looks like a junior high boy wearing a sailor uniform. It's kinda charming. I glance outside the window and see no sign of the late rain stopping. It's been coming down hard since this morning. It's a little chilly in short sleeves. But hey, it's finally lunch break. I watch my classmates pull their lunches out from their bags. Today's chore duty, Yashiro and Yada. Maybe I'll ask Kamada. You don't know. I'll show you next time. Oh, I get it. Another parody of a robot anime line. Don't really know which one, but sounds like one based on your words. Played 15 minutes on break, 1-1. Oh, he actually lost a match? Interesting. Today, I gotta go pick up parts from Doc. I have to go on the Thunder Emperor again. You probably know, but you should take medicine for motion sickness. The class rep stands in front of the blackboard. I'll be collecting money for lunches now. Now, what should I do? It's raining, but I'm thinking I'll just grab some bread at Mizuka-san's store and...
普通科3年2組ロボット研究部の瀬宮明穂さんと八潮海斗くんは至急職員室に来なさい。繰り返します。普通科3年2組ロボット研究部の瀬宮明穂さんと八潮海斗くんは至急職員室に来なさい。
何それ。
I'm momentarily dumbfounded by the sudden broadcast. Akiho quickly stands up from her seat. When our eyes meet, she flashes me a triumphant grin.
時は来た。
そのリアクションはどうかと思うよ、アキちゃん。
Our classmates are giving us weird looks.
やあしよ、一体何やらかしたんだ。ついにロボ部に配布宣告なんじゃないか。配布される前に教頭と勝負してきたらどうよ。
Ignoring their heckling and questions. I shrug my shoulders as I exit the classroom. Akiho follows after me. She looks excited. You could say there's a twinkle of hope in her eyes. Her whole posture speaks to how happy she
今の
is.
放送の声、教頭の臼井先生だよね。
さあね、あんまりヒスってなかったからわかんないな。
これって間違いなく部費の件だよ。教頭先生、ようやく会ってくれる気になったんだ。たぎってきた。
本当にそんな希望的観測でいいのかな。っていうか、なんで俺まで呼び出されるんだろう。
カイだってロボ部だから決まってるでしょ。さあ、行くよ。
I follow the high-spirited Akiho to the faculty room, gently running my hand over my stomach. Couldn't this have waited till after I had lunch?
失礼します。
Akiho yanks open the door and announces her arrival in a loud voice, boldly stepping into the faculty room. I politely nod to the faculty around us and follow her inside. As I explained, this whole thing started with Akiho. In April, there was a student council meeting. Club budgets were to be determined there, so Akiho attended and demanded a tenfold increase to our funding. I did my best to stop her beforehand, but despite the club being a shadow of its former self, it was well funded. Other clubs complained about it all the time. Akiho just had to go and throw oil onto the fire. She refused to back down, and naturally this council had enough of it. Akiho got in trouble once the VP caught wind. Things got worse when she started making her demands directly to the VP. It certainly didn't help that Akiho wasn't the least bit repentant. In the end, the VP lost her mind over it. And so here we are, with all funding to the Robot Club on indefinite hold. Clearly she wants us to cool our heads. And that about sums up the current state of affairs. Got it?
教頭先生、ロボ部の瀬宮明穂と八代海斗です。
Well, that is certainly a look. Kaoruko Usui, born 320, lives in Nakanoshima, Minamitane-cho, Kumage-gun, Kagoshima, Central Tanegashima High School staff. For a more detailed profile, please send a request for approval. The vice principal looks at Akiho and responds with silence. I retreat when faced with her intensity. Is she's willingly has the cat ears on. So even though she may be an older looking lady, she's apparently got a very young heart. That is a nice little note there that they do right there. Very interesting. Vice Principal Usui started working at the school 4 years ago. I don't think I've ever seen her smile. She seems like the stubborn mom who would be obsessed with how her kids are taught. She's always strict too. During assembly, she barks her orders at the student body, using the mic on stage. It's a sight to behold. People here are fairly easygoing, which makes her pretty unusual, but I guess there are faculty who don't live here. Nonetheless, the vice principal looks as menacing as always today. It's extremely clear to me that she's in an awful mood. I don't think this is going to go as well as Akiho seems to believe.
部費の件ですよね。ようやく決断してもらったみたいで、ありがとうございます。そうと決まれば善は急げです。今後のスケジュールを考えると、今すぐにでも欲しいんですけど。
Akiho's words and actions, while innocent, are putting me on edge. Who knows when the vice principal is going to flip her lid at this point?
瀬宮さん、どうやら頭はまだ冷めていないようですわね。では、あなたが正当だと考える非常識な部費請求の理由について改めて聞きましょうか。
The fact that she's not getting angry is scary in and of itself. She would normally start freaking out right about now, but this calmness makes me feel like she's in control. Not good.
やだな、それはもう何度も話しましたよ。
改めてと言っているのですよ。
Akiho flashes me a troubled expression for just a moment, straightens up her back, and starts explaining.
来年の2月に東京万博が開かれます。
Tokyo Expo 2020. The official name is Tokyo Expo 2020, Dream Creation Expo. Scheduled to run from February through September in 2020, it is the third largest expo in Japan after Osaka Expo and Aichi Expo. Having successfully attracted people to the expo, Tokyo aims to launch a capital rebuilding plan. But even with this plan, it will still be impossible to repair the downtown area and freeway within the next 10 years. Due to that, most of the repairing went to the Wangan Bay area. Odaiba was chosen to be the location, and the newly filled up ground was used as the venue. Even though the expo revolves around a general theme, the one that attracts the most attention is the world-renowned robotic technology section. In 2019, it was given the nickname Robot Expo due to countries from around the world putting their all into each presentation. A giant robot is expected to be presented thanks to the recent success in making carbon nanotubes and graphene. There's a robot contest during Tokyo Expo to decide the #1 robot in the world. Tokyo Expo allows pre-entries from regular attendees, which is unusual for an expo.
今回の万博は別名ロボット万博って言われてるくらいで、世界中のロボットが集まってくると予想されてるんです。で、ここからが重要なんですけど、万博期間中に全ての出展作品を対象にコンテストが行われます。そして最終的にグランプリが選ばれる、世界で最も優秀で洗練されたロボットが決まるわけです。しかも今回の万博はこれまでと違って一般参加が許されてます。コンテストの対象にもなります。というわけでうちらロボ部はこの東京万博に正義の巨大ロボット頑張れる試作1号機で出場します。でもあれを完成させるには今の部費じゃ全然足りなくて、半年後の完成に間に合わせるには少しでも多くのお金をつぎ込むしかないわけで。
This is Akiho's reasoning. She's determined to enter our club into the Tokyo Expo. This is one dream she refuses to budge on. Hell, I want to support her too, if possible, but there are so many hurdles in the way.
瀬宮さん、あなた何も反省してませんわね。今説明した内容は以前と何も変わっていないじゃありませんこと。
当然です。
万博に出たいからお金をくださいなんて言い分が通用すると思っているのですか。
She's got a good point.
ましてやロボ部はここ最近結果を出していない。あの図体ばかり大きいロボットだって
正義の巨大ロボット頑張れる試作1号機、通称はガンツクワンです。
何でもよろしいですわ。そのロボットだってもう8年も作り続けているのに完成する見込みはないのでしょう。
だからそれをあと半年で完成させるために部費を。
2人しか部員がいないのではここで部費を出しても無駄に終わるに決まっています。
そんなことないです。必ず完成させます。
根拠はありますの？
根性で。
お話になりません。そもそもあんな大きなロボットである必要はないでしょう。もっと学生らしい身の丈に合ったものを作るべきですわ。それなら瀬宮さんが要求したような過剰な部費も必要なくなり。
それでもガンツクワンはロボ部の汗と涙の結晶なんです。あの子を万博に持っていくのがうちの夢なんだ。これは絶対に譲れません。
わからない子ですね。
見 認めたくないものだな。自分自身の若さゆえの過ちというものを。
なんですって？
アキちゃん、どさくさに紛れて何言ってんの？
I know Akiho can get emotional. I know plenty well how strong her feelings are for the robot club. But this isn't how we went over the vice principal. The two of them glare at one another. If I'm not careful, I'll get dragged into their beef. The teachers seem to agree, as the faculty room is silent.
では瀬宮さん、こうしましょう。
Unexpectedly, the one to break the silence is the vice principal.
ロボット研究部としてまず結果を出しなさい。
結果？
ロボ部創設当時、あなたのお姉さんはまず結果を出して同好会を正式な部へと昇格させたのですから、あなたもそれに習うべきでしょう。
Crap. I've got a bad feeling about this.
長深田先生。
はい。
At the sound of the vice principal's sharp voice, Michi, dozing off at his own seat, jumps to his feet. He basically tumbles his way over to the vice principal's desk.
京都先生、なんでしょう。
先日先生がおっしゃっていたロボットの大会についてもう一度説明してください。
あ、再来週の日曜日に東京でロボワンが開催されます。
もちろん瀬宮さんたちもご存知ですね。
Robo 1 is a hobby robot competition. Entrants from all over Japan pit their robots against each other in combat. Its history goes back over 15 years, and due to the robot boom, broadcasts of Robo 1 get high viewership ratings. The year that the Robot Club began as a student association, they won the championship in their debut appearance. That victory is what the vice principal was referencing earlier. That was the great thing that Misani did, convincing the school to promote the association into a club. Although these days it's just a past glory that will remain forever out of reach.
それに出ろと？
その通りです。ただし出るだけではなく優勝してきなさい。それが結果を出すということですわ。結果を出したなら瀬宮さんの請求している部費について学校としてもきちんと検討しましょう。ただしもし優勝できなかった場合は。
The vice principal clears her throat, seemingly creating a dramatic pause on purpose.
即刻ロボ部は廃部とします。
I see. So that's her aim. Pretty underhanded tactics for an adult, I gotta say.
あなたたちが作っているあの大きなロボットもスクラップとして処分させてもらいますからね。
いや、それはさすがに。
やります。
What?
優勝すればいいんですね。約束しましたよ。絶対に守ってくださいよ。
もちろんですわ。ロボ部こそ条件はきちんと守りなさい。
It's impossible. Robo 1 isn't the same as when Misani competed. Plus, neither me nor Akiho has ever been in a competition like that. In other words, this whole situation was manufactured specifically to crush us.
優勝はさすがに。
話は以上です。
She swats me down like I'm a fly. I look toward Michi for help. However, he's standing at attention and grimacing. Wait, are his eyes closed? You damn traitor. What a useless advisor.
失礼します。
Akiho bows deeply and exits with squared
失礼
shoulders.
しました。
I leave the savage atmosphere of the faculty room and take a deep breath. This is real bad, I think to myself as I rub my exceedingly empty stomach. Akiho still has a stern expression on her face, standing with her fists clenched tight. I don't want Akiho to push herself too hard. Neither of us are in the physical condition for
アキ
that.
ちゃん、とりあえずさ、お腹空かない？
絶対勝つ。
無理でしょ、いくらなんでも。
How could we possibly just show up and win? I saw the New Year's Eve tourney online, and the robots were all incredible. Robo 1 isn't something you can just join and win on a whim. We have literally nothing working in our favor right now.
無理だって、アキちゃん。ゴー・ノーゴー判断はノーゴーだ。
I repeat myself just to confirm
ロボ
it.
部はもう終わりさ。ここまでよく持った方だよ。
I want Akiho to give up. There's nothing wrong with taking it easy.
諦めたら叶う夢も叶わなくなるよ。
だって、そもそもホビーロボットなんて俺たち持ってないでしょうが。
おお。
I can tell by the look on her face that she's finally realized that simple fact.
本当に何も考えずに共闘の条件を飲んだわけね。
カイ、どうしたらいいかな。
いや、俺に聞かれてもね。
やる気なし人間、このままじゃ廃部なのに。ダメだ。諦めない。大丈夫。なんとかなる。一番無駄に前向きなのが唯一の取り柄なんだから。
Akiho slaps both of her cheeks in an attempt to pump herself up as she tries to convince herself it'll all be okay.
疾風怒涛の元気一発頑張れる。ジャキーン。
In the middle of the hallway, she suddenly thrust her fist into the air.
ほら、カイも一緒に。疾風怒涛の。
いや
やってよ。
Not happening. It's way too embarrassing. Everyone around us is giving us looks. Some recognize us as the Robot Club and immediately understand.
俺に一緒にやらせたいなら、湯原で勝負。
しないし。
しなくていいなら俺、昼飯買ってくるから。あんじゃ。
My stomach is at its limit, so I leave Akiho and hurry off.
元気一発頑張れる。
To be honest, I'm not seeing much spirit. I open my umbrella and make my way toward the convenience store.
夢ね。
Akiho's dream is to enter Gun Barrel Prototype Model 1 into the expo and win the Grand Prix. It's fine to have dreams, but right now we're like frogs in a well. Heck, even down in a well you wouldn't feel this sucky.
そりゃ、夢は叶うのが一番だけどさ。
But if everyone's dreams came true, the world probably wouldn't run right anymore. Only a handful of people can make their dreams come true. The overwhelming majority of people in the world have no choice but to give up on their dreams. I'm no exception to the rule. Akiho was willing to push herself to the limit from the beginning. She's the type who charges into things face first without even considering her body's condition. That's how she's always been. To be honest, I want to hold her by the back of the car and stop her.
腹減った。
Wait, the bell's ringing. Is lunch break already over? I don't have time to go to Mizuka's sand store.
嫌になっちゃうよな。
As soon as I complain, my stomach growls again and I dejectedly return to the classroom, hungry. After school, I plant myself firmly in the empty classroom and munch on some bread while diving deep into KB. Akiho went off with Michi somewhere and hasn't come back. I'm not gonna lose. I can't fight on an empty stomach. No way I'm losing. Justice always wins. I'm hungry. Fifth, sixth period is hell. Gonna go to Doc's place. Michi's driving is rough. Gonna hurl before I get to Robot Clinic. I played an hour, 13-1. I can't fight, yeah. Akiho went off with Michi somewhere and hasn't come back. During our afternoon classes, she seemed to be there in body, but not in spirit. I hope she's okay. As the only other member of the Robot Club, I should really be there for Akiho, but in truth, I don't actually want to help. Oops. This is clearly a trap laid by the VP. We have no way of coming out on top in this, so my efforts would be wasted. Between matches, I stretch out and cast my gaze out the window. Huge raindrops fall from the sky relentlessly. I'm certain Akiho isn't just going to take the sitting down, so I need to come up with a plan of my own. My number one priority is to keep Akiho from pushing herself too hard. At the end of the day, it's common for people to keep putting off the problems that are right in front of them. I can't help but voice my thoughts. Since it's lunch break, I'm chowing down on some food while looking over a hobby robot site. It's a Euro that Akiho sent, but I draw back on my seat just looking at some of the numbers on the screen. These prices aren't something a high school student can afford. The cheapest one is around 30,000 yen. When you look at the high end, some robots go for over 200,000 yen. Today's chore duty, Yoshimura and Wakai. Be at the bus stop. Will be at the bus stop. Gotcha. Watch Guy Gallagher this morning. Feel better after sleeping? Akiho had already finished her own lunch and stands imposingly in front of my desk as she explains. Akiho sadly looks up at the ceiling. The bottleneck is the lack of time before the competition. We don't even have enough time to work part-time jobs. Akiho starts messing up my hair again. 2 strands of my hair fall into the rice in my lunchbox. I quietly pluck them out with my fingertips. Akiho puffs up her chest in pride. So that explains her happy-go-lucky mood this morning. I shrugged my shoulders and put a rolled egg in my mouth.
それでは教えますズバリ名誉部長を復活させる
I end up swallowing the barely chewed egg in my mouth.
どうナイスアイデアでしょ
名誉部長ってまさか部室に飾ってある種子島新さんのこと？
もちろんかつてのロボワンミナ9年ぶりの復活たぎるよね
Akiho thrust her fist toward the ceiling, and our classmates shower her in cold glances. It's true that number 3 is something of a legend. It's Misa-Ni's brainchild and the very same robot that won Robo 1. It now decorates the clubroom as the honorary prez. But to be frank, it's an antique. Since the robot boom began 5 years ago, tech know-how has evolved. I doubt we could win with a pre-boom machine. Besides,
あれ動くの？
動かないでもオーバーホールすれば動く
overhaul, process of maintaining machinery, take apart, clean, and exchange parts to make it basically new. I stuff some sausage into my mouth, make sure to chew it properly, and swallow before going on.
納得するまでやればいいと思うの。
はいでございますザ一言
少なくとも俺に手伝えることなんてなさそうだし。
This is Akiho we're talking about. She'll stubbornly try to fix that antique, no matter what it takes. I'll just watch over her progress. After the sausage, I put a pickled plum in my mouth. Its sour flavor spreads out over my tongue, and I can't help but pucker my face in response.
はーい
Akiho suddenly bends forward toward me. She's too
あっ
close.
ちゃんさ、俺とキスでもしたいの？
いやいや買い物程度なら手伝ってくれてもいいでしょ
買い物？
パーツとかの
まあ、そのくらいなら。
あと貝のお弁当のうさぎリンゴ1個ちょうだい
I wish she would get a clue about how the people around her feel.
Hmm? 種子島新さんのマニュアル？
そうロボ部の荷物全部探したんだけどどこにもなくて
After school in the faculty room, I crouched down and stuck my way between the desks to avoid the VP. Michi's desk is a total mess, and it smells weird. And since it's been raining all day, everything's real musty. I can't help but grimace at the scent.
あらー、お前の姉ちゃんが作ったものだからな。学校にないならお前ん家にあると思うぞ。これ豆知識な。
ミッチ把握してないの
Michi has a long history with the club. He was part of the association and was even the club's first president. When number 3 won Robo 1, Michi was the one who took the award. There's still a commemorative photo by the entrance, and now he serves as the club advisor. That's why I've been hoping he would know anything and everything there was to know about the Robot Club. But
10年近く前のものがどこにあるかなんて瀬宮妹は普通把握してるのか？
してないけど
つまりそういうこった。
this April, the Robot Club was moved from the tech prep room to the equipment storage space in the courtyard. Most of the club's inventory is still packed into boxes and stacked up inside of it. While I was the one who packed it all up, I honestly don't remember if I saw the manual at the time.
でもまあ家にあるのが分かっただけでも進展かなよし
In order to pump myself up, I pumped my fist into the air despite still being crouched
あと
down.
もしパーツが必要になったらミッチーにも間髪乗るから顧問として多めに出してね
なあ瀬宮妹、いいかこれだけは先生言っときたい。
え
何？
こんな言葉があるんだ。先生の好きな言葉だからな。瀬宮妹もよーく聞いてしっかり胸に刻み込めよ。誰かに頼ってばかりじゃ社会の荒波に揉まれて終わりだ。やんちゃしてでも自分の力で努力しろ。その結果失敗してもその後の人生の勲章となる。どうだ、いい言葉だろう。
それってつまりお金は出さないってことじゃん。
I'm over here doing my best to find a way to win, so hearing him assume I'm going to fail makes me angry.
これも教育の一環ってやつだ。先生も本当は心苦しいんだぞ。察しろ、瀬宮妹。
瀬宮妹って呼ばないでっていつも言ってるでしょ、ミッチー。
じゃあお前もミッチーって呼ぶな。長深田先生、わかるな。教師に敬意を払えば内申点も少しはサービスしてもらえるぞ。これも豆知識。
もういいよ。ミッチーに頼ったうちが間違いだった。失礼しました。
I hurriedly flee the faculty room. I'm fairly certain the VP was glaring at me the whole time, but I pay her no mind. The gloom and doom sets in as I return to the classroom.
部長ってこんな孤独な役目なんだな。
Up until now, I never really had much experience in leadership roles. You know, stuff like class rep or group leader. I automatically became the robot club president when I became a third year, but nothing's been going right for me. The reason our reputation is in the mud is because of my beef with the student council and vice principal. The more I think about it, the more my stomach starts to hurt.
まだだ。まだ終わらんよ。
I say out loud, trying to force myself to feel better. Why did I have to run into him now of all times? I've spent over a year trying to get him to join our club because he would be a rad addition to the team, but I still can't handle Hidaka-kun. I've legit never encountered such a jerk of an underclassman before.
日高くん、こんにちは。せっかくだからロボ部に。
終わりでしょ。
え？
まだ終わらないなんて今のロボ部が言っても単なる現実逃避の言葉にしか聞こえませんよ。
He heard me talking to myself. This is a wee bit embarrassing. If possible, I would love to erase the last 2 minutes from his memory. Now, normally, our conversation would end here. Hidaka-kun never sticks around to talk to me. But today's different. Instead, he's the one who approaches me.
ロボ案に出るそうですね。
なぜそれを？
もう校内で噂になってますよ。
そっか、その通り。優勝しないとロボ部は解散なの。
無理ですね。
Quick and to the point. Hidaka-kun saying the same thing that Kai said.
そうかな。やってみなきゃわかんないよ。
僕はロボ案には多少詳しいんで。
That's right. Hidaka-kun entered Robo 1 solo when he was in junior high and made it to 3rd place. This is exactly why I was trying to convince him to join the club. How could I forget something so important?
これこそ運命的ってやつね。
I can feel my blood pumping as I accidentally voice my thoughts. I pay little attention to Hidaka-kun's cold
日高
gaze.
くん、今こそ君の経験をロボ部のために生かす時だよ。
The moment I finish speaking, Hidaka-kun shifts his gaze in another direction. I follow his eyes and land at the glass showcase for all the trophies and awards that the various clubs have won. Among them is the group photo of the Robot Research Association, back when they won Robo 1 9 years ago.
瀬宮先輩はホビーロボットを作った経験は？
ないよ。でもほら、それよりずっと大きいロボを作った経験はあるわけだし。
Well, to be precise, I haven't actually finished anything. You know how it is.
そんなので優勝するつもりなんですね。あまりロボワンを舐めない方がいいですよ。
His words bite. It almost feels like he stuck a needle in my heart. It's a sharp, prickly sort of pain. I'm so shocked by his aggressive words that I can't say a word.
他の出場者たちはそれこそ半年前から入念に準備してベストの期待で参加してくるんです。そこへ先輩みたいな三流素人が準備もなしにいきなり出ていって勝てるわけがない。ナンセンスです。
I managed to put my emotions back in order, then take a deep breath.
そういう君は今回の大会出るの？
いいえ。
一度出たきりだよね。なんで？
それは先輩には関係ないでしょう。
He spits out his response and abruptly tries to leave. Like heck I'm going to let someone younger than me talk smack and just leave. I feel like a pushover. If I could just get one decent comeback in. And so the words just fly out of my mouth.
言っとくけど、奇跡は起こすものだよ。
I hide my anger behind a calm expression, wiggling my finger in the air like a pendulum.
ロボットアニメでもよくあるでしょ。頑張れるとかだってそうだったし。
頑張れるはお子様向けでしたからね。おかげで僕は見てて萎えましたが、ストーリーが安っぽかったので第一シーズンで切りましたよ。
おっと、おやおや、今のは聞き捨てなりませんな。
My heart's ablaze now. I'm pretty sure there are literally flames burning in my eyes now.
ロボットアニメは夢と希望とロマンがあってこそでしょう。
Okay, so maybe that one anime with him isn't at all about that stuff, but that's an exception. In fact, he's the only exception.
そんな考え方だから世界的ロボットブームにもかかわらず、日本のロボットアニメはいつまでも子供の見るものっていう扱いなんですよ。もっと高尚で哲学的なプロット、あとはリアルさ、主にミリタリ色を全面的に打ち出すべきでしょう。
そんなの求めてないもん。ロボットアニメは子供たちが熱くたぎれるものだよ。
幼稚ですね。議論するに値しません。
君の言うリアルロボット系の話って人がどんどん死んでって悲しくなるじゃん。
リアルロボット系？なんですそれ？
スーパーロボットとリアルロボットが決まって。
そもそもスーパーとリアルの定義から教えてください。そんなものがあればですが。
I've never really given it much thought. It's more like a kind of feeling you get.
リアルにありそうなのがリアルロボット系。
じゃあ僕は帰りますんで。何度も言いますが、もう話しかけてこないでくれますか。ロボ部と関わり合いになるのはごめんですから。
あ、ちょっと。
I hurriedly tried to stop Hidaka-kun, but if I do, this will just drag out our conversation. And the reality is that when it comes to this subject, we're on two parallel lines that'll never intersect. With that in mind, I resist the urge to chase after him. But once my flame is lit, it doesn't go out so easily. I finally managed to shout out from the depths of my soul, which of course results in all the students nearby having a good laugh at me as they head home. Back at the club room, I start to take Tanigashi Machine 3 apart, but I struggle to focus with all my energy drained. I can't help but whine a little as I cast my gaze at the Kill Ballad leaderboards. On weekends, I get to play KB without anyone interrupting me. I've gone many a weekend without eating or sleeping. In fact, weekends are when I focus on increasing my win rate against the top rankers, the short path to ranking up. That said, I'm still in 5th place. In the end, it doesn't matter how many times I defeat low-ranked players, I gotta be the top to move up. But so far, I haven't been able to matchmake with any of them. I complain to nobody in particular as I get ready to start another match. I hear Mom, Fumiko, age 42, call me from the kitchen. Mom and I are usually the only ones home. Dad pilots the only flight connecting our airport and Tanegashima Airport, so he's away half the week, like right now. Now she's got me running errands for her. Curse you, Mom. Why must you steal away my precious me time? And she wants me to go out in this crazy rain? Come on. I slide my room door open, stick my head out and yell back toward the kitchen. As for what she wants me to deliver, tea leaves. She wants me to go share them with the Sinomiya family since she got a bunch from the relatives. It's all thanks to this dumb errand that I've lost like 3 sets worth of combat time. Sinomiya, Naka no Shimo, Mina Mitane Cho, Kumage Gun Kagoshima. It's bright outside, just noticed. Played about 10 hours, 108 to 7. Lost several in a row due to a bad matchup. Sleep time. Morning, max energy levels. Staying up again, bad. Sorry. Searching through my sister's room. Fortunately, Akiho's house is next to mine, although because of the farmland between our homes, I have to walk about 50 yards to get there. From the front yard, I can see that Akiho's room on the 2nd floor is lit up. I slide through the unlocked door open and casually stroll in. Akiho's mother, Auntie Tamaki, comes out to greet me. She seems quite pleased by the tea leaves I hand her. I hear thumping noises coming from the 2nd floor. What in the world is Akiho doing? Might as well see what's up. Fran Bear, super smelly, basic Fran Bear super LL size. Hero of Sunlight Firebird. Behold the power of justice sold by Tagara. RMS 154 Berzal. HGUC number 1 requested machine. Sold by Benbai. Amazing Invincible Reigano. Super Combined. Sold by Hasbro's. I witness Akiho's head stuck in the closet with her butt facing me. Without answering me, Akiho pulls out a cardboard box from the closet. Akiho gets up and picks up a pack of space candy sitting on the floor.
はい、1個だけね。
サンキュー。後で返すよ。
I've never returned the favor. This exchange is kind of like a ritual between the two of us. I came to her room to get a space candy from her. Heck, I'm probably the only one on this island who actually likes the stuff. People don't seem too big on the flavor. Even Akiho thinks they're gross and won't touch them. The only reason why there are packs of space candy in her room in the first place is so she can give them to me. I can't even remember when this little ritual of ours started, but as long as there's a stock in here, I'll always be welcome to barge into this teen girl's domain whenever I want. Weird, I know, but that's just how I happen to interpret it anyway. Akiho complains, but she never chases me out. Hence why I can drop in like this as if it were my own room. I unwrap the candy and toss it into my mouth. The fresh peppermint flavor expands and stimulates my nostrils. How can people not like this stuff? It's crazy good. It's basically one of the 7 wonders of the island.
いつも思うんだけどさ、この部屋ってほんと女の子っぽくないよね。
Akiho's walls are covered in old robot anime posters, and her shelves lined with now unavailable robot figures. The geotags in this room are configured so that they don't display, but if they did, you would drown in robot anime info. Anyone who didn't know Akiho would assume this room belonged to a dude.
いつも答えてるけど、うちに愛と勇気と希望と正義を与えてくれるんだから、ポスターもフィギュアも外すつもりはないよ。
あ、そう。
Well, I guess Akiho can do whatever she wants with her own room. I sit on the chair backwards and lay my chest on the backrest.
で、マニュアル探してるって？
The box she's digging through contains small, empty figure boxes and towels with robot illustrations on them.
今日の朝からずっとね。でも見つからなくて。
アキちゃんの部屋をいくら探しても意味ないんじゃない？ミサ姉の部屋でしょ？あるとしたら。
水本見なかったの？
Akiho lowers her shoulders and drops down on her bed.
午前中はずっとお姉ちゃんの部屋を引っかき回してたよ。
And she didn't find a thing.
他にありそうな場所？
庭にあるそう。お父さんの書斎かな。
Either way, sounds like a lot of work, but I could totally see it being in her old man's study. Heck, it was her dad that basically made Akiho into a robot anime fangirl she is. His study is filled with robot anime DVDs, BDs, and even antiques like LDs. LD, Laserdisc, a 30cm diameter disc that was popular in Japan during the early 1990s, mainly used for video media, but with the rise of DVDs, it started to decline in popularity. Akiho lies down on the bed face up. Then, from that position, she stretches her arms and legs out.
もうすでにヘトヘトだよ。
I really wish she wouldn't push herself like this. It gets me worried. Well, you look at that, it is 1800, friends. So I guess it is a time for us to end. I will save here and we will resume tomorrow. If anybody has any tips on why Chaos Child is not working and has any ideas for how to make Chaos Child work, feel free to let me know. I will continue working on it as well, and maybe we will get to play Chaos Child at some point. So, give me a moment to see who our potential raid options are. Let's see what we have here. Okay, I know who we're going to raid, so feel free to copy the raid message. If you are not a subscriber, you can simply type the letters UWU instead of the emote.
Unicorn Turtle said, Turtle time.
Stay safe, friends, and maybe I will see you tomorrow for some more robotics analytics.